Okay, this is a quick video to look at assembly of the TREX470M, the 470LM frame. What I have here is the right side frame assembled. We're going to take a look at some of the pieces here. So, right side frame is distinguishable by the tail servo mount here. This actually has a component for mounting the tail servo block. We've got the upper bearing block here with the Align logo up and the larger surface of the bearing up. If you flip this over from the bottom, you can see the Align logo on the lower bearing block. So the important part is the open face of the bearing, or the larger diameter, faces up here, which will have the main shaft pushing down here. Underneath you have the bearing here. This will be pushed up against by the main gear, and then following here is the third bearing block, and that has the open face of the bearing facing up because the bottom of the main gear is going to push here. So bearing facing up, bearing facing down, bearing facing up here. I've got the gyro mount here in the back. I'm going to have my flybarless system sitting up on the top. And one last thing, if I turn this around, Align calls this the Shapely motor reinforcement. This sits here. These two holes will be used for the motor mount. Coming through the frame here, we've got these three standoffs. One comes here, one here, and the third one is just off by itself here in the frame. So this is the right-hand side of the frame, and we're ready. We're just going to assemble the left-hand side of the frame right over the top. Now bear with me here. We've got a couple of different size screws came with this kit. There is a whole series of 2.5mm by 5. There's some slightly longer ones that are 2.5mm by 6. I'm going to move the camera here. And there's some 2.5 by 10. So the 2.5 by 5 are used for almost everything, including bearing blocks. The 2.5 by 5s will go through the bearing blocks. The 2.5 by 6, the slightly longer one, let me pan back out here, is used when we put the motor reinforcement and the motor mount itself. So the slightly longer ones are going to be used for here and here through the frame into the standoffs coming through, and the other 4 will be used to eventually mount the motor. The 2.5 by 5s are going to be used on all of these places here. So pretty straightforward. The manual shows all those components. It was much easier to show you how this goes together here than it was to try to assemble it on video. You just have to get the spatial relationship for how all the pieces go together.